Hi, I'm 𝙍𝙍𝙍𝙄, Head Rebel at REBL Marketing. And today we're going to talk about whether you should use in-house talent like an employee or professional talent like an actor and actress for your video production. We're going to talk about the pros and cons and why you need to consider both before you start filming. Creating good video content is never simple, and there's a lot of things to consider when you're putting together your video strategy. One of those things is whether you're going to use internal talent like your employees or work with professional talent like an actor and actress. So you need to ask yourself, who is going to be the best in your video and when you should use an actor and actress for your corporate video. At a high level, this seems like an easy question, but it really isn't. It's something you have to consider seriously. Working with an employee may seem like a budget-friendly idea, and sometimes it can save you money, and sometimes it won't. So before we get into the pros and cons, you always want to start with your objective. And there's some different scenarios that will instantly put you in a direction whether you want to use internal talent or external talent. Some of the situations where you want to work with an employee is if you're going to do recruitment videos, highlight the company overall, talk about the partners or founders of the business, or maybe even you're launching a very technical product or service where you need that subject matter expert on camera. Another situation where you probably want to use outside talent or professional talent is when maybe you've got a commercial and there's heavy dialogue, or it's more promotional and you need a certain look and feel to the video. And there's also the case where your employee doesn't want to be on camera or they're not good on camera. So in these different situations, sometimes it's obvious and sometimes it's not. So let's get into the pros and cons of why you want to use an employee and why you want to use an actor or an actress. So let's start with the pros of using inside talent. Using your employees is a great way to highlight your brand because your brand really is more than just your logo and your colors. So being able to show the authenticity and your culture through your employees is a great reason to have them on camera. Also, if you have an employee that's client-facing, they'll also be recognized by your clients when they see the video. And this is also another great reason to connect and bring your employees into your video content. Another pro of using an internal team member is the cost. Up front, there isn't much cost to use them in your video, although we'll talk about a little bit later on why you still want to consider the overall cost of using an employee. Now let's talk about the cons of having an internal member on camera. Even though you may have somebody that does well speaking in front of people or in public, it doesn't always mean it'll translate in front of the camera. I don't know what it is, but sometimes being in front of that lens makes people uncomfortable, they freeze up, and they just don't know what to do with themselves. And this leads to flubbing lines, many retakes, and a lot of editing on the back end. So now all that cost savings of using an internal person is costing you a lot on the back end because you need to fix for all the mistakes and the fact that they're just not a professional on camera. Not their fault, but it is the hazard of using an internal team member. Another con of using an employee is employee turnover. So you really have to consider which employees you're going to pick to have in your video. If you have any concern they may not be with the company for a long term, this might end up meaning that you can't use your video long term. Not because they left on bad terms, but maybe as a company you don't want people that are no longer with you, or there may be legal reasons that you can't use them in your video anymore. So take this into consideration when you're choosing an employee to be in your internal video. Now we're going to talk about the pros of using professional talent. The great thing with using professional talent is that you have a pool of people to choose from, so you can get the right look and feel for your video, as well as have diversity in the video that you may not get with your internal team. You can also audition these people, which is great, so you know what you're getting into, you know who's going to be coming in on set, and what their capabilities are when you start filming. The other nice thing with using professional talent is they are camera ready. They're gonna come on set and they're gonna be ready to go. They know how to read a script, deliver their lines, and be professional and deliver the product that you need for your final video. So you don't have to worry about flubbing lines. They know how to deliver their lines, read a script, and be on point so that when you finish production, your video should be well done and also more efficient in time because you don't have to take as many retakes and editing at the end of the day. Some cons with working with a professional talent is that they're not as familiar with your business. So it will take them a little bit of time to get to understand your culture and present the content in the way that fits your brand. But they can do it and they'll figure it out. One way is if there's a lot of technical jargon or in your service or product is for you to have your subject matter expert on set with the actor. That way they can answer questions, make sure they're not mispronouncing any key terms or misstating any statements, and ensure that the content being delivered is accurate and on point. Another con, probably most obvious, is the cost. There is an upfront cost for using an actor and actress, but in the long run, they're probably going to save you time and money on the back end with editing and having to do retakes. So we've found it's probably a wash compared to using an internal person and an actor, or you may even save money because that actor or actress is going to be more efficient. So in conclusion, there are times using internal talent makes sense for credibility or if you have a tight budget. But the good thing is you have an option to use professional talent that can up the value and the production of your video in the end. So with the right planning, direction, amateur or professional, you'll have good results in the end.